Today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful speeches in movie history. It's the final monologue from Charlie Chaplin's 1940 film, The Great Dictator. We're going to look at it not just as an amazing performance, but as this really profound lesson in political ethics that honestly feels just as urgent today as it did when the world was on the brink of war. So let's kick things off with a fact that is just wild. Charlie Chaplin, the brilliant comedian, and Adolf Hitler, the very tyrant he was making fun of, were born just 4 days apart. It's this bizarre coincidence that really sets the stage for our story. Two men who would become, in pretty much every way, the opposite poles of humanity. And this wasn't just something people noticed later. A year before the film even came out, a magazine wrote this exact line, calling them distorting mirrors. The idea here is that both men totally understood the struggles of the little guy, but they reflected that struggle in completely opposite ways. Chaplin used comedy and a call for us to be better humans, while Hitler, well, he used it to unleash unimaginable evil. So Chaplin, acting as that mirror for good, uses his speech to really diagnose what he saw as the sickness poisoning the world. Let's take a look at his assessment of what went so wrong. Right off the bat, Chaplin says the root cause is a moral one. It's not just about politics or economics. He says greed is the poison and hate is the wall that divides us. So this isn't just a political jab. He's making a much bigger point about the human condition, arguing that our own inner flaws are what lead to these huge global disasters. And then he points out this really interesting paradox of the modern world. Think about it. We've made incredible progress. We've got speed, we've got machines that can create abundance, we have so much knowledge. But has any of it actually made us better people? Chaplin argues, nope. Instead, all this progress has just made us feel more isolated, more empty, and deeply cynical. So let's quickly break down that word cynical. To be cynical means you basically believe the worst in people. You just assume everyone is only out for themselves. Chaplin's point is that having all this knowledge without any wisdom or empathy to go with it has just made us suspicious of one another, and that destroys the trust that, holds a society together. Okay, so if greed and cynicism are the poison, what's the antidote? Well, that brings us to the next part of the speech, Chaplin's prescription for how to fix things. And it's this powerful call to get back to our most basic human values. This right here is the absolute heart of his ethical argument. For Chaplin, real progress isn't about new inventions or being super smart. He's saying we have to prioritize humanity over machinery and kindness over cleverness. And he's not just saying these are nice feelings to have. He's telling us they are essential for our very survival. And this slide just lays out that choice perfectly. On one side, you've got the problem, a world run by cold logic. Machinery, cleverness, just thinking too much. And on the other, you have the solution, a world guided by the heart, humanity, kindness, and feeling more. He's begging us to rebalance our priorities before everything is lost. Now, this isn't just some philosophical ramble. Chaplin connects all these ideas directly to the ethics of political power. He gives us a really powerful lesson in what democracy is actually supposed to be about. He speaks right to the soldiers, the very people who have to enforce the dictator's rules. He pleads with them, don't give yourselves to leaders who look down on you, who treat you like you're disposable, who want to control every single aspect of your lives. And he uses that really intense word, brutes. A brute is just a savage, violent person. By calling these dictators brutes, he's ripping away their fancy uniforms and titles and showing them for what they are, something less than human. Leaders who rule through cruelty, not because they have any right to. And this all boils down to a fundamental ethical point about democracy. Chaplin is saying that the power these dictators have is illegitimate. It never really belonged to them in the first place. They're just thieves who've stolen what rightfully belongs to all of us, the people. And here is where the hope comes in. This is not a speech about despair. It's a promise. A promise that stolen power will always, eventually, find its way back to its rightful owners. The desire for freedom, that's a part of who we are. As long as people are willing to fight for it, liberty can never truly be destroyed. So knowing what's wrong and knowing how to fix it isn't enough, right? The final part of this incredible speech is a direct, passionate call to action. It's a demand that we, the people, actually get up and do something. I mean, check out the brilliant way he flips this. Dictators always rise up making all these promises of a better world. But Chaplin points out the total hypocrisy. They only free themselves while enslaving everybody else. So he challenges the audience to be the ones who actually make good on that promise of a better world. And this isn't just some vague battle cry. He gives us clear goals. He's calling for a world without all the things that tear us apart. National borders that create an us versus them mentality, the greed that poisons us, and the hate and intolerance that fuel every conflict. And that last word, intolerance, is just so important. Intolerance is refusing to accept people who are different from you. It's the engine that drives prejudice and persecution. Chaplin points to it as one of the main enemies we have to defeat to ever have a decent, free world. You know, it's funny. A lot of critics at the time actually hated this speech. They said it didn't belong in a comedy. But history has proven them so wrong. As the sources for this explainer make clear, these words are just as relevant today. The fight against greed, hate, intolerance, the abuse of power, that's still our fight. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Chaplin called on his audience to unite and fight for a world of reason. When you look at our world right now, with all of our own unique challenges and divisions, what does that fight look like today? That's the timeless challenge he leaves for every single one of us. Thanks for tuning in.